Mascot horror. It's gotten even worse. There I was, sitting at my desk, drinking some G Fuel and doing some university work, but then my day was ruined. Garden of Banban 3 was given a release date, and a few days later, it was unleashed into our world. Now, it's no secret that I and many other people all around the internet absolutely hate the current state of Mascot horror. Genuinely, it seems that every couple of months or so, a brand new, spooky, scary, terrible Mascot horror game with its own rhyming name main character gets thrust off of the production room floor. And nowadays, when anybody merely utters the word Mascot horror, equals bad lol usually comes next. But today, instead of taking the piss out of Mascot horror, something that I really love to do, I want to try to solve a few questions. Sure, I love making fun of this genre of content, but what is the real reason Mascot horror sucks? And is there any way to solve this problem? Hey you! Subscribe to the big YouTube channel! Horror. Something I find incredibly interesting. One of my earliest memories of feeling scared when it comes to video games happened all the way back when I was a small little stupid child. Back in the day, my dad had a PlayStation 1, and when he played games on it, I would watch it. It's something that I just really enjoy doing. It's the reason why I love gaming as much as I do today. Sometimes, though, he would play this, a game called Alone in the Dark: The New Nightmare. I was terrified of this game. It's the only game I couldn't watch my dad play. I had to go and sit in a different room when he played it. It scared the shit out of me. Alone in the Dark: The New Nightmare, it was my first proper experience with horror video games. And my experience with this game, it's one of the main reasons why I find the broad concept of horror so interesting today. Sure, I'm a massive bitch, but I just really find the genre so intriguing. Horror is something that's just so uniquely human. Just like we all have our own faces, perspectives, thoughts, opinions, so too are we all scared of different things. You may be scared of, I don't know, snakes, but I'm not scared of snakes. On the flip side though, I'm terrified of bees. You may not be. And it's the same with video games and horror in gaming. The first time I ever played Subnautica, my pants were shitted, my timbers were shivered. You may have just jumped in like it was absolutely nothing. I think we can all agree though, this isn't scary. I thought these games were meant to be horror games, you know? Horror. It says it right there, horror. Mascot horror not being scary. I reckon that it's the main problem facing this genre of video game at the moment. Playing through all of these games, me and many other people, not once did we have our pants shitted. We never felt the hairs on the back of our neck stand up. Though, if you were to ask me, I would tell you that, well, all of these games, they're not actually meant to be scary. No, they're meant to sell Funko Pops, baby. Buy the Funko Pops. Let's go buy the Funko Pops. I love Funko. At the center of your Mascot horror game, you're gonna have your main mascot. It doesn't really take a genius to realize this. I mean, come on, it's in the name, Mascot horror. You know, Mascot horror. It's right there. And it seems that nowadays, whenever one of these brand new Mascot horror games emerges out of the ether, they seem to forget about a very specific concept that made Mascot horror so scary in the first place. Automatonophobia. Have you ever watched one of those robot AI videos where some university or tech company is showcasing their brand new creation, but then they show you what they've actually made? What the fuck? Maybe one day you and your mom, you went clothes shopping, and as you strolled around looking at Gap t-shirts and Levi jeans, you felt something watching you. That feeling you get, that's called automatonophobia. We know what we're looking at is meant to be something we recognize, but there's something off, something wrong. Our brains start to go a bit haywire, trying to figure out what the bloody hell we're actually looking at. Automatonophobia is integral to a Mascot horror game. It's the reason why Five Nights at Freddy's 1, the game that kickstarted the Mascot horror arms race in the first place, a game that I'm making a video essay on, was so fucking scary in the first place. Freddy and his animatronic friends, who all get way too quirky at night, they were modeled off of Chuck E. Cheese animatronics. Unholy abominations that were spawned in the darkest pits of hell. Automatonophobia was baked into their designs. If you can knock it out of the park, that's one hell of a step in the right direction. If you can't, well, then you get stuff like this. However, while having a scary mascot is something you have to nail if you want to make a scary mascot horror game, it isn't the only thing you have to get right. No, you also have to make me feel scared when there isn't anything going on. When it's just me left alone with my brain. Darkness, long hallways, grime, droning, humming, all things that can make your brain start acting a bit strange. You see, the human brain is an incredibly complex thing. All of us Homo sapiens, we all have this subconscious primal fear of things that we can't fully understand or make out clearly. I don't know about you, but me, I don't think I'm going to be going for a stroll down something that looks like this in the middle of the night. I'm not going to go swimming in water that looks like this. No. Just no. Survival is a basic instinct after all. And if your brain notices something that it thinks looks a bit dodge, it's gonna push the panic button. It's time to get out of there, mate. Now, there's actually something I want you to do for me here, person watching this video. You know, sit back in your chair, get comfortable, maybe take a sip of G Fuel. This isn't G Fuel, this is Prime. This tastes like absolute dog shit, by the way. You're gonna be using your brain for a second here. Picture the scene. There you are, alone in a creaking, abandoned mansion. The air thick with a foreboding sense of dread. Droning and groaning, rain hitting windows, a low hum buzz, all filling your ears. A cacophony of uncertainty. Behind every corner, unspeakable horrors. And if you don't calculate every single move you make, something terrible is gonna happen. You can't help but feel the hair on the back of your neck stand up. That is atmosphere. Having the right sort of atmosphere in your horror video game, you could say that it acts as the silent conductor, orchestrating the built-up fear within us all. Atmosphere, it's an unseen force that amplifies every jump scare, intensifies each heart-pounding moment, and instills a sense of uneasiness in us that just doesn't want to go away. It permeates the very fabric of our being, tapping into our primal instincts and invoking a visceral response. It immerses us in a world where reality blurs with the supernatural, making us question what lies in the shadows and what lurks beneath the surface of our own fears. Atmosphere in horror, it's the beating heart of the genre. This is scary. This is shit. I really don't know what it is with all of these newer mascot horror video games, but oh my god, why? Why is everything so bright, so overly saturated? What's even going on here? Is this meant to make me feel uneasy, scared? How? How is this meant to make me shit myself? Here's the thing with horror games. Most of the time, you aren't actually being pursued by the insert horror character here. No, most of the time, you're walking around, exploring, and all of that type of stuff. But even though the monster isn't with me at that current moment in time, me, the player, I'm meant to feel like it's just around the corner at all times. It's there, like right there behind that corner. It's waiting to jump out to me at any given waking moment. This does not make me feel that way. This makes me hate myself for wasting money on these games. In the atmosphere department, these games have no idea what the bloody hell's going on. Well, except for one game series. Now, I can't believe I'm actually gonna say this. Trust me, I'm 21 years old and I never thought these words would ever come out of my mouth. But Poppy Playtime, when it comes to atmosphere, it's kind of alright. I mean, I kind of like the vibe that's going on here. It's just a shame that all of the spooky, scary Deviant ODCs are just so dog shit. But trust me, yeah, that's the only compliment I'm gonna give the Poppy Playtime franchise, because the Poppy Playtime franchise, it's the prime example of why these games just fail all in the horror department. Now, for some unknown reason, all of these games are dead set on happening in places frequented by children. But spooky. A toy factory. A kindergarten. Yeah, if you didn't know, that's what Garten stands for in Garten of Banban, like garden, kindergarten. It took me way too long to work that out. Here's the thing though, all of these different levels and locations, running through them, I have no idea why I'm actually doing what I'm doing. Like, what is the meaning of all of this? Why is there a giant jellyfish talking to me? Why is Jacksepticeye on a TV screen? The narratives in these games all have to be overly complex and stupid and dumb apparently, because if they are, well, we're not gonna get a game theory video, Five Nights at Freddy's. It's convolution for convolution's sake. Now, I get it, lore is stupidly popular. All of the children around the globe love this shit and salivate whenever a certain pixel on a background image is a slightly different shade of brown, because, guys, this could be a hint to the true identity of the son, of the daughter, of the brother, of the wife. But making your game solely to get a hello internet, welcome to game theory video, it ruins the quality of the story you're trying to tell me. If you want to tell me a horror story, just tell me a horror story. Don't go into your first game trying to tell me all about the 10,000,001 different pieces of lore and game theory in your universe that already exist. I'm sorry, mate. I just really don't give a fuck. Me having to read through wiki pages and wiki pages just to kind of understand what's going on in your first game, it's bullshit. Just make it simple. Simple works best. And then if you really want to, in your next couple of games, you can build on this simple base and introduce more stuff to your universe. Stuff that I might actually be interested in because I've seen it happen in your universe and I understand what the fuck's going on. Do you want to know what sucks though? I reckon that these games really have the potential to be good games, but they're just not. Hell, I reckon that even Garten of Banban could be good. Once again, I can't actually believe I'm going to say this, but hey, life is full of surprises, I guess. But I think that the core idea of Garten of Banban, a horror game set in a kindergarten, it could be quite scary. Now, according to these games' Steam pages, the reason why we're in the Garten of Banban is because we're trying to rescue our child for some reason. Scrap this idea. It isn't interesting. It's generic and boring and shit. A child's mind is a really interesting place. I'm sure you remember when you were a child, just like me, you were scared of a bunch of different stuff. You know, the dark, the boogeyman under your bed, the creature living in your cupboard. The reason why we were so scared of this stuff, it was because we were young. You know, we were dumb. Our brains were still in the early stages of development. We were still trying to differentiate reality from fantasy. So what happens when you thrust this developing brain into a brand new foreign environment? Into a place where there are a bunch of new sounds, smells, faces, furniture, people. Let's take this idea and run with it a little bit. Our new Garten of Banban takes place from the perspective of a young child, struggling to cope with the terror of attending a new kindergarten. Our new Banban aims to explore the delicate balance between the imagination and reality of childhood, delving into themes of isolation, anxiety, uncertainty, and maybe even the resilience of the human spirit. As you, the child, navigate through a labyrinth world of fear, the line between reality and imagination, it begins to blur, leading to a heart-pounding journey through the depths of childhood dread. What seems like your simple, friendly, run-of-the-mill kindergarten for all of us is a foreboding, terrifying nightmare for this child. And as this child's anxiety intensifies, this kindergarten, it transforms into a nightmarish maze of twisted corridors, distorted classrooms, and unsettling playgrounds. As for the original, just fucking stupid Garten of Banban mascot characters, like Jumbo Josh, Stinger Flynn, whatever this thing is. Sure, okay, we can't keep them, but let's give them a complete makeover. Throughout the game, instead of running into weird Play-Doh looking blocks, the child we play as encounters a variety of eerie entities, such as malevolent imaginary friends, sinister teachers, haunting specters, the figurations of a terrified child's mind. From a gameplay perspective, instead of having a gameplay loop of walk around, push button, break your desk because you can't solve the stupid puzzle, let's actually make it good and fun and not shit. In the new Garden of Banban, the gameplay mechanics emphasizes the child's vulnerability, limiting your abilities and forcing you to rely on your wits and resourcefulness. A child's perspective creates a really interesting gameplay experience. You're a child! What are you really gonna do? Who do you think you are, Chris Redfield? God no! Hiding, stealth, and evasion, all crucial survival tactics. Sure, okay, we can throw in a puzzle here and there, but for the most part, it's up to you to survive and calculate every single move you make as you slowly unravel this nightmare you found yourself in. Fixing mascot horror is not a hard thing to do. Nah, it's actually rather simple. Just make these games scary. Instead of mass-producing overly bright, dumb-looking games filled with stupidly confusing lore because you want to get your game on game theory, for God's sake, just tell me a story. Instead of just creating another FNAF knockoff, make something unique, subvert my expectations. Instead of mass-producing games and mascots to get onto the LankyBox YouTube channel, create something worthwhile. Throw me into and build an mental, scary environment and world. Make decent-looking, scary mascots that suit the setting they're in. Make me shit myself. It's a horror game. It's meant to be scary. But with all that being said, what do you think, a mascot horror person watching this video? Be sure to let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Go watch all of my other stuff, and I'll see you soon.
Number 15. Subscribe to the Beak. If you don't, you will suffer a severe case of cringe, and you are taking part in bozo behavior. Thanks for watching.